Hi everyone, welcome. We will start a new academic year here. Unlike the previous years, we will be starting it here through this online platform. I know that we are all passing through a crisis situation, and I hope everyone are safe. Please be safe, avoid going out unnecessarily, and please follow the instructions given by the government. So let's begin. So we have a problem here, so we need to find out a solution. And at this point of time we have a solution, and that is this one. Anyway, don't worry, I hope very soon we'll be meeting again the classrooms. Until then, we have to continue with this method. So before begin, please be in a comfortable situation and sit like the way you sit in a classroom. Just like keeping a book with you and having a pen is good, and it will be much better if you are using headphones. I know you're all excited since this is one of the first classes that you are going to have, and only that I know your parents will also be there with you, but I request the parents to uh, stay away for at least half an hour, so that the kids can have full concentration on the classes. Okay, let's begin. So in this year we have this textbook, The World of Geography, 8th standard, and this is the continuation of whatever we have studied in 7th standard. And in this textbook we have 11 separate chapters divided into 3 units. And if it was a normal class, I would have explained all these lessons with a small introduction, but we don't have that much time. So I hope we should directly go to the lesson. So unlike the previous years, we are not going to start with the first lesson. We will be starting with third lesson, and the name of the lesson is migration. Right. So why migration? So the reason is very simple. I thought to start with migration because among these first 3 lessons, this one is the easiest one. First and second is little difficult to understand the concepts. So compare with the first and second one, migration is an easier one, and moreover slightly interesting than other one also. So I thought to start with migration, and I'm sure all of you are familiar with the term migration, and some of you might be knowing a little more deeper things about migration, then migration policies, reasons, and other things. Whatever, let's begin the lesson. So since it is the first class, we will not discuss too much things. We will discuss maximum one or two things, just the definition and types of migration. We are not going to discuss the whole thing in this class. It will be comparatively a shorter one. So let's begin with a question, and the question is, what is migration? In the simplest manner, we can say that migration is the movement of people to a new area. That is, people moving from their own place, native place, to other place, maybe due to various reasons. Sometimes they move individually or as a family unit, or a community as a whole, as a large group. So whatever, when people move from one place to another place temporarily or sometimes permanently, it is called as migration. So then arises the question, why do people move from a place to another place, or why do people migrate? And there are so many reasons. So we'll study all those reasons here step by step. Now, the some of the important reasons, or we can categorize the reasons into these. People usually migrate for better living conditions. That is one of the most important reason behind migration. A large number of people move from their own place to some other place which they think is better than their place, so that they'll get a better life. So people move from place to place because to get a better life or a living condition. Or sometimes people like educated people, they move from place to place to get better career opportunities or better lifestyles. People move from rural area to urban area, or from one city to a larger city, and the main intention behind this kind of migration is getting a good career opportunities or a lifestyle. And you take your own cases in future, some of you, or at least some 30-40% of you might be moving out of this city, maybe into some foreign countries where you will get a better career opportunities and lifestyle. So that is another one reason that initiates migration. And at sometimes people move because of the bad situations in their native countries. So in order to escape from those bad situations, they move out of that place. So the reasons for migration are various. Migration is not a modern concept. It was there from a long time. It is believed that at least 2 million years ago, human beings started migrating out of Africa. According to one of the study of the origin of human beings, the human beings originated in Africa and they started moving outward. So this study says that people started moving out of Africa some 1.8 million years ago. Then they, from the southern part of Africa, they came to the north, then entered into the Asia, Europe region. Then from there, they moved eastward and through the Bering Strait, they entered North America. So theory goes like that. So we are not going to theory, but I just want to inform you that migration is not a modern concept. It was there for a long time, and the most important thing, the ancient migration was not so easy. It was very difficult. Right? Unlike the present day, it was very difficult to get information about a new place. Then facilities were not available. Nowadays we have all kind of facilities, but it was not there, and the migration was comparatively very slower, and it was very difficult also. So that's about the migration in the ancient times. We don't need anything more about that thing. So moving on, we have migration in modern times, the present day migration. And the most important feature of the present day migration is this one, that it is very easy. With advanced technology, communication as well as transport facilities, we can move from any place to any place, right? From any corner of the world to any another part within a day or even less than that. We have all sort of technology. We can get information about any place in just one click if we have internet. So various means of communication has brought the world so closer, right? So if I once I upload this video in YouTube, anybody can access this video from any part of the corner, any part of the world. So that is the rate of development. So we have developed so much that we get information about any place. We can prepare according to. Then we have all sort of facilities to travel. We have transportation via road, air, as well as through water, and so many facilities available. So migration in modern times are very easy, and it takes comparatively very less time. Then since we have all these kind of facilities, we have various types of migration. We can classify them into number of categories. So simply I can say migration is the shift of the base. Imagine someone is living in a place. So when that person moves out of that place, he is shifting his base or shifting his native place. So this movement is simply called as migration. Now, migration can be due to various reasons. Migration can be within a country. Migration can happen within a country, or it can happen between two countries. Migration can be sometimes permanent. People are moving from one place to another place, and they are sitting there permanently. Then migration can be temporary. People moves and returns back to the same place. So those type of migration can be called as temporary migrations. Sometimes people migrate due to push factors, some negative factors, maybe due to some problem that is persisting in their own place, so they move out of that place. Or sometimes people move because of pull factor or the attractive factors. By seeing some good facilities available in some other place, people may get attracted to that and they move to that place. Then that can be due to pull factor. So migration can be within a country, between countries, can be permanent, can be temporary, and it can be due to negative as well as positive reasons. Now let's see the classification of migrations. So we have different factors, reasons behind that, behind migration. So we can classify the migration into a number of categories. And first is this one. Based on the reasons, we can classify the migration into two types of migrations. One is pull factor migration, other one is push factor migration. And the first one is pull factor, means factors that attract people to a place, right? So there are various things. Say for example, a good job. Someone is working in a place and he is coming to know about a new job in some other place which is giving a better salary, which can give a better living conditions. So that means that person is getting attracted to that place, and automatically that person shifts to that place, right? So there is a migration happening from one place to another place. So this kind of migration can be said to be a pull factor migration, right? So the first one is pull factor migration, and the reason behind pull factor migration are always positive things, better jobs, better education, better health conditions, health facilities, or transport facilities, whatever it is. So whenever people are attracted toward one place and migrate to that place, then that type of migration is called as pull factor migration. On the other hand, we have another one, that is push factor migration, exactly opposite. When people are disturbed in their own native place, they are forced to move out of that place. So factors that force people to move out of a place is called as push factor migration. And reasons are various, and all these reasons are negative reasons, sometimes due to war or natural calamity or any other problem which is there in a place. So because of these factors, they are forced to move out of that place. We have a good number of examples, right? So the pull factors mean the factors that attract people to a new place. These are healthcare, peace, education, money, city life, food, jobs, etc. On the other hand, push factors are the natural calamities, then poor living conditions, poverty, war, or any other negative things. So these are the two main types of migration based on reasons: the pull factor migration and the push factor migration. The most important thing, this is not there in your textbook, but this one is most important. So please note it down. You can pause the video whenever you want, and you can note down the things. Right, now the next type of classification is internal migration and external migration. Again, it's very easy. From the name itself, you will get an idea: internal, external. Internal within a particular place, external between two places. Right, internal migration means movement of people within a country. Right, so movement of people within a country or migration happening within a country can be called as internal migration. Not necessarily a country every time. It can be between any place, between two places in a region, between two places within a state, whatever it is. If it is happening within a boundary, within a political boundary, we can call it as internal migration. And we have so many examples, so we can make only examples. Say for example, migrating from Maharashtra to Tamil Nadu, both are in one country, so that can be called as an internal migration. Or you take my case, you know from where I am coming and where I am now, so there is another example of internal migration. Now the second one is external migration. Just like the other one, from the name itself we can understand the migration that happens from one country to another country, or the act of moving out of a country is called as external migration. We have so many examples, you can make your own examples. Moving from one country to another country, moving from India to China, then this kind of migration is called as external migration. Alright, we have another two types of migration, and here the term is continental. One is intercontinental and other one is intracontinental. Inter means between two, intra means within. So that means intercontinental migration means movement across continents. That means migration happening from one continent to another continent. Again, very easy to understand. Intercontinental migration means migration between two continents. It can be from India to Brazil. That means India is in one continent, Brazil is in another continent. So migration happening between two continents is called as intercontinental migrations. Correct? Now another one is intracontinental migration happening within one particular continent. So that can be between two different countries in a continent. So this kind of migration is called as intracontinental migration. In this example, someone is moving from India to Thailand, and both these countries are in a single continent, that is Asia. So this is intracontinental migration. Now we have another type of migration. One is immigration and other one is emigration. You might have heard about this earlier. Now immigration means it is the act of entering and settling down in a new country. One more time, when a person enters a new country and settle there permanently, then this type of migration is called as immigration. There is a catch here, and a person who immigrates is called as an immigrant. A person who enters a new country and settles down there permanently is called as an immigrant. And other one is emigration. Emigration is the process of leaving one's own country to settle in another country. So both are more or less same. I'll tell you later, but before that, a person who emigrates is called as an immigrant. So this I can explain this with the help of a diagram here. So we have two population 1 on the left side and population 2 on the right side. So if someone is moving from population 1 to population 2, then for these people, for population 1, it is emigration. Actually, this, in case of this birds, this is actually a goose. So for these birds, this one particular bird is leaving the country. Imagine this is a country and going to another country. So when a bird, when a person leaves one's own country to settle in another country, then that process is called as emigration. But if you look from the angle of population 2, if we look from this side, a person is coming to a new country. A person is coming from somewhere to a new country to settle here. So for from if you look from this side, it is immigration, right? So immigration and emigration are same, but based on the angle from which we look, it differs. There is another example here. You look at this one picture. So there's a traveler traveling from USA to Italy. For USA, he is an immigrant. He is leaving the USA. He is leaving the country USA and going somewhere else. So for USA, he is an immigrant, and the process is emigration. But in case of Italy, someone is coming from somewhere and is going to settle down in Italy. So that he is an immigrant for Italians, and the process is immigration. So there is the slightly confusing meaning of immigration and immigration. So I'll one more time go back to the same thing. So immigration means entering into a new country and settling down there, then that is immigration. But keep in mind, this is a permanent migration. Both immigration and immigration is permanent migration. You can again take your own example, right? Imagine after 20 years you're getting a good job in USA, so automatically you will leave India and you will go there and settle down. So if you go there and settle down, then that is immigration. So you are leaving your country and you are settling in a new country, so that is immigration. So for USA, or if you look from the USA's angle, you are an immigrant. But at the same time, if you look from the angle of Indians, you are leaving this country. You are leaving a country and going to somewhere else. That means you are doing an immigration and you are an immigrant, right? So there is a difference between immigration and emigration, and the term immigrant and immigrant. I hope it's clear. If you have any doubt, we can discuss that in our WhatsApp group later on. Right. Right now, moving on. Sorry. Right. Next one. Okay. Another type of migration is a seasonal migration. Again, very easy to understand. You just need to understand the meaning of the term seasonal. You already know the meaning of the seasonal. So seasonal migration is migration that happens during a specific season or a particular time of the year. So this kind of season is actually to and fro. People are going to one place and returning back to their own place again, and again going back to the same place in the next year. So this kind of a migration, which happens during a particular period of an year, is called as seasonal migration. And this migration can be said to be a temporary migration. People are not going to settle down in a place permanently. They settle there for only a few short duration, maybe due to some reasons, and once the purpose is done, they will be migrating back. So this kind of migration is called as seasonal migration. We have so many examples. One example is the workers in Punjab. Actually, most of the workers who work in the agriculture field in Punjab comes from eastern part of the country, like maybe UP, Bihar, West Bengal and all. So what they do is they go to developed states like Haryana or Punjab during the harvesting season, and they will do the cultivation part. And once they are done with the cultivation, harvesting and other things, they will return back to their own place. Again, they will go back to the same place the next year for the work. So here the movement is temporary and it is seasonal. If you take another example, we have one more good example, the movements of nomads, the to and fro movements of nomads. So nomads are the people who move from place to place along with their cattle or the animals which they have. So they move in search of food and grasses for cattle or their livestock or their animals, right? So what they usually do is they move from one place to another place where the grasslands are available for the animals. And we have a lot of communities living in Himalayas. So one such community, what they do is during summer season they will migrate upwards. They will migrate towards the top of the mountain where grasslands are available, right? So at that time they will be leaving the plains. That means grass will start growing in the plain area because they are moving upward, because they have grasses here in the top, because it is summer time, right? So when they are in the top, the lower area will get sufficient time to grow new grasses. And what happened is, by the next winter, the top of the mountain will be covered with snow. There won't be any grass available, and at the same time, new grassland would have emerged again in the valley. So they will return back to the valley again. Again, in the next season, when there is summer, they will migrate to the top of mountain with their cattle or whatever animal they have, and they will settle there for few months, and again they come back and they will settle in the valleys. That means they are not staying anywhere permanently. They are temporarily moving, continuously moving from place to place. So this kind of a migration is called as seasonal migration or temporary migration. We have another one, imposed migration. Again, you will get some idea about the migration by looking into the name itself. Imposed migration, that means migration happening due to some reasons, some bad reasons that forces the people to move out of a place. Sometimes certain circumstances impose migration on people or force people to move out of a place. Then this kind of a migration is called as imposed migration. People are moving out of a place due to certain bad reasons, or people are forced to move out. Or otherwise you can say this is a good example for push factor migration. People are forced to move out of a place. And examples, sometimes war, natural calamities, government policies, so and so and so. Imagine there is a war happening in a country, so it's not a peaceful situation, so people automatically try to move out of that place. And it is happening even today in countries like Syria and all. Civil war is going on, so there is no peaceful situation, so people are trying to move out. There are a number of people trying to move out from Africa to other places. There are people coming to India from nearby countries like Myanmar, Bangladesh, so and so, because of the ongoing war or civil war in their own places. Natural calamities, whenever there is flood or any other type of natural calamity, people are forced to move out of that place. Sometimes government policies, imagine government want to construct a new dam in a particular place, then people living in that area don't have any other option, they have to move out of that place. So this kind of migration is called as imposed migration. Right, and we have a good example here in front of us. Even today, at this moment, people are moving from different parts of the country to their own place, but not because of attractive reasons or something, because of imposed migration. We have COVID, and that has reduced employment opportunities and other issues. So people are forced to move from one part of the country to another part of the country. So this is also a good example for imposed migration. And the last one for today is return migration. Again, I think you will be able to understand from the name itself, return migration. That means people returning back to their own place after a long time, right? Somebody has gone to some place through migration, and after a long time that person is returning back to their own place. This kind of a migration is called as return migration. People moving back to the place from where they come from. So this kind of a migration is called as return migration, and it will be easy to understand if I give you one example. Take the case of a government officer, a village officer or collector, someone who is living in a state. Say for example, somebody who is living in Karnataka got a government job, but he got appointed in a northern state, say for example UP. Right. So this government employee will be staying there up to 60 years of age, that is until his retirement. And once he gets retired, he will return back to his native place. Right. Then this migration can be said to be return migration. So these are the different types of migration. Right. So we will discuss the remaining migration in the coming classes. Before that, we will just summarize the things that we have discussed today. Right. We started with the definition, migration. Right. Migration is the movement of people from one place to another place due to a number of reasons. You can add any reason, and it can be temporary, it can be permanent. Right. It can be due to push factor, it can be due to pull factor. Right. So the movement of people from one place to another place, usually to get better living conditions or better education opportunities, etc., is called as migration. And the reasons, there are so many reasons, we have already listed it. And then we have types. We have internal and external migration within a country, between two countries, intercontinental and intracontinental. Then we have immigration and immigration. Then there are two terms, immigrants and emigrants, another two terms related with this one. Then seasonal migration is there. Then there is imposed migration, and the last one of the day was return migrations. Okay, so we'll continue in the